Hi there, it's Mark, and thank you so much for coming to my e-guide, the video form, entitled, Where Do You Start? This is a question I'm asked so frequently, and it's part of people's big frustrations when they're trying to change their health is, where do I start? It happens to me every single week, and so many people struggle with getting the first steps in place. So what this guide is designed to help you do is really take the reins on some practical, easy, everyday steps that you can do to help change how you feel. And I'm not asking you to do too much. This is going to take you probably less than 15 minutes per day. And I will promise you that when we start laying these things on top of each other, you're going to feel this much better in a very short period of time by doing steps that are that big. So where we want to start with things, I understand we're living in a tumultuous time. There's so many factors that are stressing us, that are aggravating us. There's so much uncertainty in the world. I understand. I'm living it too. But having these things happen, unfortunately, so many people take it as a free pass to just do the things that are detrimental to their health rather than building up their health. Some of you reading this guide are just starting your health journey, and others, people that are kind of tuning into this guide, have been seasoned veterans for a long period of time. And I want to tell you that this guide's going to work for both of these audiences. There's things you're going to take away from this that I hope that you can apply to your lifestyle and have the success. So I'm a naturopath. I'm focused in St. John's, Newfoundland, and my primary focus in my practice is three things. I help people with their guts, their mood, and their energy. That's what my practice is. I've built my reputation on giving simple, easy-to-do steps with your lifestyle to truly change how you feel from the inside out. So as a naturopath, we're constantly looking at things and answering the question, how did that get there? So a lot of times these symptoms people experience are layers upon layers upon layers of things that's happening. And my task becomes, how do I best guide the right things to remove those problems to help your body empower itself to feel better? That's what my role is, and I love it more than anything. But let me tell you, as complicated as some of that stuff can be, there are a lot of really simple things that I think that everybody can do, no matter what state your body is in, whether you're optimally well or just starting your journey, that you can take that are super empowering to help you feel different. Okay, so we're going to walk through these three basic things that I'm going to start talking about today and really start helping you with how you feel. So let's start off with the thing that you do the most that can help you or hurt you. That's going to be your food. Food is medicine first in my world. It's the thing that we're trained to do the most, is basically change the food, change the outcome. And Hippocrates said it best way back in the day when he said, let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. So many people are struggling to kind of figure out what it is that they should eat. And I get it. These diet recommendations change so fast. Here's what's stayed true for the longest period of time, and I really think is going to be the most empowering things you can do to start looking at your diet objectively and making changes. Number one is going to be eat the color of the rainbow. So as you are looking at your shopping cart or building your plate that you're about to eat, make sure you have color on that plate. So think of it, when you walk through your grocery store, the first thing that should catch your eyes is the color of the fruits and vegetables. It's usually why they have positioned the fruits and vegetables in the start of the store. And the second reason when you walk through the store that your nose takes you to a certain direction is because usually the bakery is there. So funny enough, that's the two factors that we want to talk about to kind of help you with your food first. Number one is going to be eat the color of the rainbow. And number two is going to be cut down on the processed and refined and the sugar-dense foods inside your diet. So let's stay with the color for a second. Why is color important to your diet? Well, color is where you're finding these natural fire extinguishers. They're the substances and compounds that are inside your food that help your body nourish itself. It's going to give you vitamins and minerals and fibers and antioxidants and all of these wonderful plant compounds that we still can't figure out how they work together to do all these wonderful jobs together. It's fascinating to see the difference between eating an orange and drinking orange juice. The orange just outperforms the orange juice in every single metric because of that nature made that perfect food for us. So starting to consume your colors of your rainbow is super important. So the next time you're walking through your grocery store, just take a look down at the color inside your cart from the fruits and vegetables side of the coin. If there's not a whole bunch of varieties there, try to change that out. Try to look at a color of the rainbow that's not inside your cart. Maybe work it inside your diet. Really easy, practical tip. Number 2, we already mentioned, is going to be cut down on the processed, refined, and sugar-dense foods inside your diet. So part of the reason why we want to cut you down on the sugar is that sugar is going to provide you with a whole bunch of calories, yes, but it's not going to provide you with nutrients. And so many people walking around right now are satisfied for their caloric intake for the day, but they're scoring really low on their nutrient intake in the day. And when that starts to occur on a longer term basis, your body's going to have to fight harder to kind of deal with the symptoms that kind of come with that. So if you're at that phase where you're gaining weight or having trouble losing weight, or at that point where something's starting to break, or you have an itis, we really have to pay close attention to how many foods that are coming in that are satisfying your caloric requirements, but not looking at your nutrient requirements. So things like cutting out your tons of your breads and pastas and grains and muffins and cookies and cakes and chocolate bars and your soft drinks and your juices and your fruit juices, and all these things are just loaded with sugar. So if we kind of look at it objectively to see how much sugar we're eating in the run of a day, I bet you your mind will be blown as to how many grams of sugar you're actually consuming, even though you might look at things and say, you know what, I think I don't eat that bad. So it's funny to see how much of that stacks up over time. Which brings us to our next point, which is basically eat things that are going to kind of increase your immune system's potential to fight back. And these are things like mushrooms are my absolute favorite. Garlic, onions, broccoli, cauliflower, Jerusalem artichoke. You're looking at asparagus and all these wonderful foods that are just incredible for helping you with increasing your immunity by starting to feed into those nutrients that your body's just craving. The next part, you might have heard of these two things used before. They're called prebiotics and probiotics. What prebiotics are, they're forms of fiber that actually act as a food supply for your gut bugs. So your prebiotics feed your probiotics. Understand that? So there's numerous different things inside of our diets that we can consume from these healthy fibers that will help feed our gut bugs. And when our guts are going to perform better, then usually a whole bunch of symptoms fade away. Remember, gut is the thing that I know the most about in my practice, and it's what brings 80% of the people through my door is, Mark, can you help me solve my gut issue? And the answer to that question is yes. So what are the fibers that I want to start seeing you consuming into your diet to help you with your prebiotics? Things like pomegranate seeds, things like dark cherries, things like real whole grain oats, things like pickles, like all these wonderful, wonderful fibers. You can't forget about your greens and your sweet potatoes and your lentils and your beans and all these wonderful things that are going to be in your diet that kind of feed your gut bugs, and they help provide a food source for those wonderful bacteria living inside of your gut. Which brings us to our probiotics. Probiotics are friendly types of bacteria that provide a benefit to you, the human host. So probiotics, you can consume those from eating fermented types of foods. So things like pickles, things like sauerkraut, things like miso, things like sometimes you can get it from yogurt, things like getting to the point where you might want to consume kimchi, or just so many other options out there for probiotic supports. I think it's important to start looking at how you're feeding your guts to truly change how you feel. So that's a little bit about food. So I know that I just threw a lot at you, but here's the trick. You're going to be able to download this whole entire thing as well when you look at it in your email. So flip over to your email inbox if you want the kind of broken down version of this PDF, so you can start working with these things back inside your diet. So in your email inbox, make sure you check your junk mail, because sometimes if you're using a certain email server, these things will be lumped over into your junk. So make sure you check that before you start emailing me, asking me, where's my document? It might be sitting in your junk folder. So make sure you have a look at that, because you should have received it by now by the time you're watching this video. So the next thing we want to talk about is your lifestyle. And lifestyle medicine, I think, is one of those things that's just incredible for helping you change how you feel. Because these are the things that we create as habits, right? So one of the biggest habits I'm constantly helping people do is help them with their sleep. So a couple of really cool factors about sleep is that sleep is the superpower you don't even know that you have. Sleep is when your body's able to get a shower, basically. Think of it like your brain gets a shower when you go to sleep. It cleans up the junk. It helps speed recovery. It helps make hormones. It helps kind of purge all the junk you've heard that you didn't really need to take in. It helps solidify memories. It helps with focus and attention. It helps improve your mood. Sleep can do all of these wonderful things. And think, if you're asking me, Mark, how do you know all that? Ask yourself, how do you feel after you did not have a solid night's sleep? You can tell me that all of those factors I just rhymed off are the things that you experience. So I have to question with a lot of people that come to my office with these, brain fog and fatigue and these trouble concentrating in memory and attention. How do you sleep? It has to be the first question we ask, because it's the thing that most people don't do effectively. So a couple of really quick tips. Turn your phone off about 45 minutes to an hour before you want to go to bed. Have a bedtime. Make sure your body knows that you're winding down and you shouldn't be winding yourself back up. Really try to limit the consumption of caffeine after lunchtime. Super important, because caffeine is going to kind of tell your body that you're awake, and some people can take a really long time to break down those caffeine molecules that they've consumed. So all really easy, super practical steps you could take to really help with your sleep. Because like I said, sleep is the superpower that you don't even know that you have. Another one that I really kind of find myself a lot of the time talking about with people is getting to the point where we've established a solid de-stressing type technique. One of my favorites is exercise. You don't need to think about exercise and beating your back up and destroying your legs going to the gym. Getting outside and just being with nature and walking and moving is all great positive things for moving your lymphatic system. Have you heard of that before? Your lymphatic system is where your body basically dumps toxins so that your immune system can pick it off, and then you're supposed to poop it back out. But your lymphatic system doesn't have a way to pump that lymph tissue through your body. It doesn't have a pump like your heart. It relies on you moving your muscles to squeeze that lymph through different parts of your body so it can get out to the escape routes your body has worked in. So if we start working our butts off, we start moving and being with nature and start lifting things and putting them up and putting them down, what we find is that clears the lymphatic system of some of the junk that it has sitting around, and sometimes that is a natural detoxification process your body is requiring to start feeling a little bit better. So just breathing and moving and challenging your body with this cardiovascular system we have is a very important first move for you to take when it comes to starting to balance how you feel, especially with how you manage stress. So stress hormone is also another one that we tend to not breathe correctly. So one of my favorite techniques to kind of help de-stress some of my clients, and I see these on a daily basis, it's going to be practice something called box breathing. And the trick with this is you want to breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds. So think about, I'm going to draw a box for you. Breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds and hold that inhale. And then breathe out for 4 seconds and hold that exhale for 4 seconds. We just made a box with our breathing. That's very important to kind of start establishing this control over our breath. And when you're breathing, breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. You have 2 holes here and 1 hole here for a reason. Use these 2 to get air in and use that one to get air out. Very, very simple. And when you're breathing, take deep diaphragmatic breaths. So your diaphragm, that muscle that sits on top of your stomach, should be elevating and compressing as you're breathing. If you're breathing from your shoulders, you're not doing it properly. So really take the time to sit up straight, take a focus on a big inhale in. Your belly button should come out and kind of literally like a baby breathes, like belly in, belly out. That's what you want to envision your body doing, is in and out when it comes to your breath work. It helps tremendously balance your stress. I also, for stress, really like people journaling their emotions. So many times people problem solve their days when they go to bed. That's part of the reason why you're not sleeping. You're not supposed to be problem solving as your body is winding down. So journaling in a lot of cases, taking 5, 10, 15 minutes per day just to write out some really easy things that you've experienced today and emotionally how you felt when that happened is important for your body to realize that that event happened and it's over. So interestingly, your brain and how you perceive stress happens when you perceive danger. And when you're constantly perceiving threats that might have happened, you're keeping your body in that fight or flight response. So many times just journaling your emotions can be one of those incredible things that you can do to tell your body that that event is over and move on with it. It's a brilliant, brilliant mechanism that any single one of us can start. The next one, you want to kind of shift your mindset into an I can kind of mentality. And how you do that is actually catch yourself saying some of these words that are kind of negative to your day. So if you find yourself ending a question or answering a question in a negative tone, really pay attention to how you did that. So I'm going to ask you a question about how was your day today? The automatic answer we have is good, but. Good, but. So you ended on a negative note. So I'm just kind of waiting to say what's the negative here, right? What happened now? How's the weather where you live today when you're watching this video? It was nice today, but, it was windy. Or it was nice in the morning, but it started to rain. Frame that differently. Frame that to our morning was absolutely beautiful. We got outside. We enjoyed the sunshine. When the rain came, we already got our things done that we wanted to do outside, so the rain didn't really matter. See the difference? Completely different mindset about how you're even answering questions. So answer things on a positive note rather than a negative note. And if you need to cut out some of these negative Nellies from your day, then do that. Put that big X through that part of your day and not let that stick to you. Sometimes the people that we surround ourselves with can be those negative driving forces that keeps us stuck. Okay? So it's a whole bunch of things I want to talk to you about. The next one, is going to be about resetting your nervous system a little bit. And the next part of this is going to be, there's a nerve in your body called the vagus nerve. And what the vagus nerve does, it actually innervates all the parts of your body. And it tells basically your body, speed up or slow down. And the vagus nerve is able to be activated by your body through really simple kinds of techniques. Humming, singing, and bouncing are super important techniques that you can do to start reactivating your vagus nerve. So people tell me in practice, there's parts of my body that seem to not listen, so I'm chronically constipated, or I chronically have diarrhea, or, I feel like there's this numbness in some of these peripheries that I might have. Some of those things might need to see your doctor about. But really interestingly, some of those things, there might be just the body's just kind of put earplugs in to kind of turn off that noise. So reactivating that vagus nerve by causing these humming sensations and these rebounding, like jumping on a trampoline, or even like my favorite activity is jumping jacks. Just getting the blood flowing is sometimes enough to reactivate that vagus nerve to help you feel better. So there's so many little things you can do, but you know what? I want to tell you how you start. So you start like this. You start your day by just breathing. Take 3 deep breaths as soon as you wake up. So your feet are on the floor, but you haven't even stood up yet. Take 3 deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. Just let your body calm. While you're planning your shower or your routine or your day's routines, make sure you're focused on your food. So what food can you put into your mouth the very first second you wake up, or say the first half an hour when you're awake, that can really supercharge your mood, your energy, and your behavior? Think about that. And I'll give you a trick. It's protein and it's going to be color. So start your day with those 2 really simple things. Ask yourself, while you're driving to work, can you practice these deep breathing type techniques? Can you put on music that makes you happy? Can you listen to a podcast that makes you laugh? Can you change the mood of your day by changing your activities and your lifestyle? The answer is absolutely you can do those things. If you're a person that sees people on a daily basis, I do. And what I tend to do between my clients or before I come home to be dad is I actually kind of like visually wash off my day. because people pour their emotions into me, and I love it because it's the thing that I love to do the most. But when you pour your emotions on me, they stick to me. So I have stains on my shirt. So what I want to do is just visually, I want to kind of push those things off. Just let myself go, catch my breath, reset. And what I do is symbolically, I actually change all of my clothes as soon as I get home, including my socks and underwear. Everything is new when I walk through my house. So I walk through my house door, I walk right upstairs, I change all of my clothes, and now I'm back to Mark, the husband, the dad. That's what I am now. I'm no longer in this position because this position is not what my family knows me as. They know me as dad. So try those things for your lifestyle. See if they kind of tend to work with you. And one of the other brilliant things that's at our disposal that costs us $0, just appreciate the nature we have around ourselves. So get to the point where you can make time to just go for a walk. You know that old term, stop and smell the roses? Do that. Just take time to appreciate nature. You know, when we had a beautiful summer here, it was so nice to just watch in the gardens the bees just going into our flower garden and just taking away pollen, moving on to the next one. Just appreciating that process of nature is brilliant. Just sitting next to a tree or a stump and listening to water flow by, or listening to birds chirp and listen to their conversations. These things are good for our soul. You know, so at the end of the day, these are processes and things that I want to start seeing you start doing in your life to change how your outlook is looking. Now, there's a couple of different supplements that I think most people want to talk about as well. And again, when it comes to supplements, they're not for everybody. So there's a couple of really cool things that are in the PDF guide that should you want to take a look at those, please feel free to do that. But for the purposes of this video, I'm not going to go in depth to any of those supplements. Again, I think supplements are designed to supplement your diet. So I told you first and foremost, make sure you focus on your diet. So don't worry about the supplement end until you figure out the food end. Because you probably need a lot of supplements now if your diet's not that good. But as you make the investment in yourself and your food and your preparations and your meal preps and all those different things that we want to see you do and be an empowered person when it comes to using your food as medicine, the amount of supplements you're going to need is going to dwindle because you're getting those things from your food. It's kind of rare to see that someone needs to start with a whole armload list of supplements. There's some basic things that might very well help you, yes, but the thing that helps you more than anything is making that food plan, including all the colors of the rainbow, getting those great fibers and those great gut bugs, getting your body to be your friend and work with you rather than against you is the point of this starting guide. So we have a ton of content here. I covered a lot of stuff in the last 20-ish minutes. So take the time to run through the guide, look at it objectively, and ask yourself, what can I do from this guide today that I did not do yesterday? That's where you need to start. That can happen every day of the week. You can continuously add little things to your day. Or you can do one little thing per month or week. Doesn't matter to me. As long as you are making a conscious effort to work on yourself and work towards a more positive body image and self-realization goals, I think you're moving in the right direction and your health is going to follow that trend. So remember, you become what you think about. The universe will give you opportunities to the things that you most commonly put out there. So if you're commonly putting out negative comments, what do you get back? Negativity. If you switch that mode a little bit to just framing your sentences differently, you're going to start pulling in more positivity. And then you're going to start seeing opportunities present themselves that maybe weren't there before because your brain and your mindset and this universal energy is now there to support you rather than beat you back down. So sometimes this doesn't have to be complicated. We just have to take the right first steps to put you in the right position to feel better. So I appreciate your time more than you know. This video has been so fun for me to make, and this document has been so empowering for so many people that I hope that it works for you. If you have questions for me, I'm here to help you. My website, markkabuke.com, is loaded with tons of great information. If you have anything that you think I can help you with, I would love to have the conversation with you and get those things started for you. I hope you have a fantastic day. I hope you love this video, and I will see you real soon. Bye-bye.